Hey, everybody. I actually got it right this time.
Welcome to the Bleeding Burgundy podcast, a Washington football podcast by fans for fans. With your hosts, Jesse Martin.
You want to play what? Okay. Say hello to my little friend.
John Taylor.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
And Keith Gray.
The King, your Majesty.
And now here's your host, John Taylor.
Hey, that's me. I am your host, John Taman, and I promised myself at the midpoint of this year, at June 1st, I made my June 1st midpoint of the year resolution, and I said, I am not going to fuck up the beginning of this show anymore. How am I doing? Am I doing all right?
You're doing well. You're doing well.
Sounds good, man. Sounds good. Like I was telling you, Jesse, last night, I'm telling you what, I'm going through NBA withdrawals. I am. I mean, their championship just ended 3 months of amazing playoffs. Just 2 weeks ago, and now they just had their draft. So coming up, summer ball I think starts tomorrow. And oh my
goodness, D League! I can't wait. Oh my goodness,
Christ! I tell you what. See, this is what we call the June swoon here in this NFL fandom area here. And I know there's a lot of you crossover people over there that like some of you trans people that like the NBA. But I'm here to tell you, you could use a June swoon. Holy shit, you're overexposed. Oh my God, it never fucking ends. It just never fucking ends. It's like the MAGA people, man. It never stops. Anyway, speaking of stupidity,
crawling out of the gutters and the sewers and the backwoods.
And for all of you stupid MAGA people out there that might be listening to the show, hey, man, thanks for joining us.
I want to just point out that Scotty's shirt is fantastic. I mean,
I think so.
Thank you.
Yes, it's
it was
not quite the wheel of cheese of last time, but
no.
It's
designed by your good self, John. So we thank you for that. And
nice.
Yeah, got a bit of embroidery done. I've got 2 baseball caps as well for me and Scouse.
Fucking fancy.
Yeah,
fancy.
No gilets though. We're not that fancy yet. So,
fancy, and of course, our fancy friend from Barrow and Furnace, UK, Scotty. And of course, Keith is not here, which I'm sure surprises the fuck out of everybody.
He pulled the rug out from us today.
He did.
You know, he was all about coming and joining us. He even asked what time. Oh, that's great. I can make it.
Yep.
And then 5 minutes before the podcast, my wife made reservations.
My wife made dinner plans.
Yeah, dinner plans of chicken tenders and French fries.
I don't see what kind of planning it takes. What are you gonna, you want it in the basket or you want it in the box? That's like, he chastised us. He said, "I'm eating much healthier now, gentlemen. I don't eat that kind of junk anymore for over 6 months." So right now, I would have to assume that Keith is going out tonight to the eternal goddess of Gaia for some health food at the health food eatery and boutique. And I bet you he's going to have something like, a chickpea steak or something delicious.
Or
like
seaweed sassafras and
there you
goat cheese.
It is Friday. May as well celebrate.
boiled beef and carrots in my house, John.
Hey, I'm not making any fun. My wife eats seaweed. There's probably some seaweed in my goddamn refrigerator.
Oh, I eat nori plain, man. Nori's great.
Nice.
The stuff that they wrap sushi with.
Yes,
it's basically seaweed. That's what it is. Yeah. They call it nori, and I think it's delicious.
We have a crispy seaweed called dulse, which is a delicacy in Ireland, and it is pretty much it's almost like slightly fried seaweed. It's very, very nice.
Yeah. My Chinese wife, who eats all kinds of everything out of the ocean, is making fun of you guys right now. She'll take you on a food journey. I'll tell you what.
Listen,
I'll tell you what. I take my wife to the aquarium, right? To the aquarium, like the National Aquarium, and we're looking at all these wonderful, awesome fish and these beautiful displays, and she's like, "Damn, I think that one was this kind of stuff." Yeah, right. She's looking at it like it's the menu. So, but that's cool, man. That's cool.
I'd like to welcome our friends in the chat, Steve from the Command This podcast, a buddy of ours, and Yam, as always. Thanks, guys, for joining us. There's not too much going on. Obviously, the news of the day. Once again, the celebration continues as the days get closer until the sale of the Washington Commanders. And listen, I'm going to, party every time an announcement comes out, because that's just one thing closer till the done deal. It looks like on July 20th, the NFL will have a meeting of all the owners, and this could be the actual vote for Josh Harris and company to take full control of the Washington Commanders. This is it, fellas. This is it. And you got to think, are they trying to push? Because there was 2 dates. There was August 8th and July 20th. Are they trying to push this? Is this why Hard Knocks is holding off?
Very possible.
That's just like a caveat to I think that would be icing on the cake, obviously. But this is a long time coming for our fan base, and it's going to be a special day. I think this is going to be a special season, and it may not to amount to a whole bunch of wins, but just a step forward for the franchise. That I'm just saying, you never know. This season is up in the air. You just don't know. But this is a step forward for this franchise that's been a long time coming. And I think this is just the step in the right direction. Finally, things are going to turn around for the better. And every fan should be excited about this.
I definitely am, because it is going to be a special day. It's going to be quite a special day when Dan Snyder is finally out of our fucking hair. And, I was just thinking about this today because it's June, right? June is usually the month in which all the Dan Snyder bullshit bubbles up to the top, and we get to find out yet again just what another fucking horrendous asshole he is. And I'm sorry, my language is all over the place today, and I just don't care, because I'm glad we're about ready to be finished with this guy. And it's been like a pin. You can hear a pin drop right now. Yeah. There's nothing. Yeah. You can't hear anything. There's no talk about this team whatsoever, except will they be on Hard Knocks? And, I think that you're probably right when it comes to why there's a delay. Yep. Hey, dang.
Oops. Someone was getting dialed in there. Is that Keith dialing in from his restaurant? Or is that him dialing his dinner? Maybe, I don't know.
He's ordering
Speed dial 1.
Keith has some woman that hasn't shaved her armpits in 6 years telling him what today's specials are. We've got a fresh air soup with some delicious lemon blossom.
Everybody's let's talk about Hard Knocks for a second. Everybody's talking about, the Jets. It should be the Jets. It should, they have one storyline, and that's Aaron Rodgers. And I'm sorry, but Aaron Rodgers is getting old, and I'm sorry, he's going downhill. I don't think the Jets are going to have the season they're expecting. I think the actual storyline in the NFL, or the most storylines in the NFL, comes from this team.
Right now, yeah.
There's so many different types of things. You have a fresh young quarterback starting. You have Ron Rivera fighting for his job. You have a new energetic offensive coordinator that has been passed over for fucking head coaching jobs, coming in, getting out of the Andy Reid shadow and taking full control of an offense with a bunch of fucking playmakers on it. I mean, we have tons of playmakers, and I want to get to this in a bit. I don't know if anybody read that Mike Clay article about projections. Fuck him. I just don't understand. We'll talk about that.
I told you why. I told you how. This is how the media makes projections on all the teams except for like the top 6 or 7 teams that they know by heart. They go, how'd they do last year? Who were the free agents they signed? Oh, no big names there. What'd they do in the draft? Oh, nothing big and splashy. They're going to not be anywhere near as good as they were last year. And they pronounce this shit, and they have no fucking idea. No idea.
It's true. It's true. But the fact of the matter is, I mean, you have so goddamn many storylines for this team,
right?
You really, really do. Sure. It's crazy. You have Terry McLaurin, beloved by the Washington fan base.
I love
get him more exposure. I mean, there's not a father in the world that wouldn't want him to marry their daughter.
Absolutely.
He's just such a good dude. Like, seriously, good dude.
Would you like to see Terry McLaurin exposed?
Exposed?
I wouldn't want to see him expose himself.
Well,
but,
now you got to go ruin
like Jesse saw at training camp that time, or what we talking about here?
No, but listen, you have the Chase Young storyline. Like, what is he? You know, they didn't pick up his fifth year
storyline. It's a double. Yeah, they got one bag of money hanging up there.
There's so many storylines with this team. How could they not be thinking about this?
The biggest thing is, this is one of the things that the NFL likes to do more than anything is shine their shield. They likes to fucking polish up the goddamn shield. And after this fiasco of the last 20 years and the downfall of Dan Snyder, this is a prime opportunity for them to put a nice new spit shine on this franchise on national television, international television.
Do you know what'd be interesting is you've got like Jason Wright, and he wants to prove and show that this is what they're doing off the field as well as on the field. You're going to have a new ownership, as Jesse and you've both said there, John. You know, all this talent that's on this team, the underratedness of Terry McLaurin, Jahan Dotson going into his second year, Brian Robinson and the story that he's come from, a beleaguered and belligerent fan base, you know, going back into potential winning, you know, looking at what's happening with this stadium deal, what's happening with the new ownership, where are we going to be, what's it going to be like, Sam Howell, etc., etc. I think it's great, and I want it. I absolutely want it. Being an international fan, the more the merrier. You know, the more Commanders I can get my hands on, the better. But I genuinely don't think Ron Rivera wants it. I don't think he does.
He's going to have to take it sooner or later. Right, we're getting down to the bottom of the barrel of teams that have not been on there yet, and there's
no team that wants it.
Right, we're eligible. They've got like 5 teams left that have never been on there, and I think the Jets have been on there. Yeah, they have.
Yes, they have.
There's a riot on that.
The thing about it, and listen, if Sam fails, we will have a new head coach next year, but we won't be on Hard Knocks.
We can't have
first year head coaches.
Right.
Yeah. And it doesn't matter if they've coached before. A new coach to a new team, that's a no-no. They will not allow that. There's a bunch of stipulations for it. So I think this year is the year. I mean, just for freaking, you know, the out of Dan Snyder, the fan base. I mean, training camp is going to be
Jesse, do you want to get that?
Crazy. Oh, fucking Jerry's calling again. All right, Jerry, let's go ahead and hello, Jerry. How are you doing?
Hey there, fellas. I just figured I'd call up and join the party a little bit here and try to bring some joy and cheer about the impending news of Dan Snyder finally being out of the shadow of the Washington, whatever y'all are called these days. I don't even. I mean, for Christ's sakes, I'm 70-some years old. I can't even remember what those numbers are.
You're going to miss Tanya, aren't you?
Well, I'm trying not to miss Tanya, but it's hard. And I'm telling you why it's hard, because I accidentally ate 3 Cialis about 4 hours ago. And I thought that I was putting down a couple of Valium to go take a nap. But God damn it, here I am stuck out here in the middle of the goddamned ocean with nobody on this boat but Captain goddamn freaking Gustavio. And he doesn't even know where we are right now because the compass is broken. So I'm just sitting out here playing with myself on the deck. I figured I'd give you all a call. Listen.
Tell Captain Gustavio I said hello.
I certainly will, but I can't wait to get rid of Dan Snyder. And I can tell you right now, we do want to have the Commanders on Hard Knocks. And the reason why we want to put the Commanders on Hard Knocks is because, hey, I don't feel like having the Cowboys on there again because, listen, my facelift fell down about 5 years ago, and I just ain't looking myself anymore. And, you know, I think that it's about time that we get a look behind the curtain. But the reason that there's a delay isn't the ownership question. It's the fact that they're going to have to go into Dan's office and scrub all the urine stains off the wall. I mean, that man is an absolute pig. And I don't even want to try to give you any pictures of what's going on. But I'm afraid that those pictures may come out one day. And I deny everything categorically. Jerry, you are willfully telling as always. We appreciate it. I don't mind because honestly, God, you know, I've run through all my videos and all my magazines. I'm sitting out here in the middle of the goddamn equator getting a sunburn on my dick. Gustavio, turn us around and face away from the goddamn sun. Well, at least you're on a floating device and not in a submersible. Well, that's too soon. Too soon.
Yeah.
You know, they should have called that the SS Commanders or the SS Regiment because that's what Dan Snyder did to them. He took them right down to the bottom and they blew apart. God damn. Yeah. Pretty much. You know, I'd like to say a couple of my friends were on that ship, but you know something? I don't hang out with people that are that goddamn stupid. The only one I got that comes close is that Jimmy Irsay, and he's just full of drugs and freaking all kinds of alcohol. It ain't really his fault. Anyway, I've said too much. It's time for me to go.
Yeah, have you got any promo codes there for us, Jerry? John, even before you go. Yeah, Jerry. Where's John?
There's always a promo code. I'm going to tell you something right now. Since I'm sitting out here in the sun with no goddamn pants on, I want to make sure everybody has an opportunity to buy a Cowboys sun hat, something that'll cover up all of you. Something I wish I had right now out here in the middle of the goddamn ocean, but Gustavio forgot to pack my fucking trunk. Use the promo code Solar Cane to get 10% off of your Dallas Cowboys sun hat. Jerry out.
Oh, Jesus, Jerry.
He's such a good guy dialing in, Jerry.
Yeah. Look, last bit on the Hard Knocks. I just think it's too good to be true.
It's a perfect opportunity.
A perfect opportunity.
You got a running back that's coming off of getting a bullet in his leg.
No shit.
Exactly.
And then turning into a running back that people are looking at saying maybe this year he takes that next step forward. All right.
I thought he took a great step forward after after his first few games started, getting back into football shape. Because you remember, I mean, he was out of fucking football for 2 months, after getting shot in the fucking knee twice.
Well, the thing is, how did he get away with that without any damage? I will never know. He is really lucky.
I don't know. I would suggest lucky to him for this summer. Hey man, just order in, get some Uber Eats or something. Don't be going anywhere.
Yeah, you're gonna have a pumped fan base at training camp. I think it will make for good TV. Anyways, but look, Mike Clay, he put out his season projections. And this is projection. This is not what he necessarily thinks will happen. He put numbers in the computer and stuff like that. And this was on, I forget what podcast I was listening to today, but just to point out, you ranked 1 through 4, or point system 1 through 4. He had our tight ends as a 0.05 or 0.5. For our tight ends. Yeah, they're not well known, but
that's the point.
Just crazy.
That's the point.
Great.
The intern researcher doesn't know who they are, so they write down this was a bad group, and they read it on the air and they go, "This is a bad group."
The offensive line was like a 0.7. No, I don't think they're a 4 by any means, but they're certainly.
They have a lot to prove.
I don't think they're bottom barrel.
I don't know. They were pretty fucking bad last year at pass protection.
I
wouldn't say they were bottom of the barrel either, because the bottom of the barrel got blown through in week 2.
But we've changed 4 offensive linemen. We have 4 new starters on that offensive line. Yeah, Cosme's moving to guard, but it still counts.
Like Scott, like Keith says,
they're projecting us to be favorites in 2 games. Over a 50% chance of winning in 2 games, below 40% chance of winning in 12 games. Our quarterback is a 0.3 or something like that. Our wide receivers are only a 2. Our defensive line is the highest, which is a 4. And we're projected to win 2 fucking games.
Yeah, that's crazy.
2.
That's
2.
Crazy.
Wow. 2 games. But the wide receivers was really pissed me off. A 2? Do you not know who we fucking have?
They don't care. And you're right. They don't care.
Our running backs were a 1. Just nuts, man. Nuts.
Even if you look at our 4th wide receiver in De'Ami Brown, he would probably be a wide receiver 2 on some teams.
Our safeties was like a 1.5. Our safeties were a 1.5. Our defensive backs were a 2. Yeah,
shit. No. Cam Sims is going to be lining up next to Devontae Adams.
Exactly.
Adams. Okay.
Our defensive ends were a freaking 3. Yeah. That seems okay, but why? Like you're gonna.
That's why
Chase our fucking. But that seems fair. But you're gonna rank our wide receivers at a 2.
Yeah, no, I have a hard time with media.
That's just fucking stupid.
I have a hard. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Scott.
Did either of you see Adam Rank's
I don't listen to that clown. I don't listen to that clown. He's a clown.
I filed him in the "How the fuck did this guy get famous" file a long time ago.
Exactly.
Good man. Best
aside from his lack of knowledge of anything, he ain't fucking funny either. I don't get it.
No.
5 and 12 is what he went.
So let me. I heard this debated a couple weeks ago. If you had the choice, let me ask y'all a question. If y'all had the choice of giving somebody the bag right now, Montez Sweat or Chase Young, who and why?
Right now?
Right this second.
But has it got to be out of them two, or is it any?
Got to be out of them
player?
two. Yeah,
Out of them two is Montez Sweat.
All right, why?
Because he's proven more, and Chase has been
Has
injured. You don't? Yeah, I think so. I don't think he's. He's stayed healthier. He's got more pressures to the quarterback. He's got close. He hasn't got to the sacks as you suggested. But yes, Chase is a game wrecker, and he was the first season he came in when he was Defensive Rookie of the Year. But apart from that, what has he shown? He had one move.
He's shown that you don't put him on the other side.
Yeah, he had one move where he pushes forward and he tries to use power to get past the tackle, and it doesn't work at this level. That's why he was so good in college. He could do that. And then after that, the injuries have curtailed him, and we don't know what we have with him. We still don't know. And there's too many question marks for me against Chase Young. Or is there not that question mark?
John, what do you think?
Montez?
I give it to Chase Young. And it's not anything against Montez Sweat. And I give it to Chase Young because here's what we do know about him. From the right defensive end, he creates fucking mayhem. He creates mayhem. All right. When he got hurt, that was a rush from the right defensive end. It was one of the few he had that year because that was right after I think Sweat's brother was killed. Right. And Sweat missed a couple of games. Something was going on right in that time there. And he played on the right side, and he only had a few snaps before his leg went out from under him without even getting touched. It was non-contact injury. So, but in that season, he played from the right defensive end spot. Well, for one thing, we know he won Rookie of the Year before. He created all kinds of problems. Quarterbacks couldn't see him coming. He was smacking the ball out. He was creating fumbles. He was freaking chasing Joe Burrow around from the backside and smashing his ass and causing a fumble at the goal line.
Remember when he just totally destroyed Joe Burrow? Oh my goodness.
He wasn't even there. Right. I'm thinking about when he would chasing around and busted him at the goal line and forced the fumble. Right?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, he just.
I thought you were talking about when we broke him up and freaking destroyed his legs.
No. That's the play that I'm talking about.
We did. Deron Payne overwhelmed him like a tidal wave.
Yeah.
Look, the thing is, but they play him at right defensive end, and that's the season that he was just not very good. And I've detailed this 1,000 times on this podcast. When you say we haven't seen enough, okay, I have. Yeah. I have seen enough to know where you put him. Okay, and I've seen what he can do once he's there. I will take the bet that his knee is going to come back strong.
Yeah, John, I agree with you 100%. It's Chase Young. The reason why is the talent is so much. The ceiling for Chase is so much higher than the ceiling is for Montez Sweat.
Yeah, I agree.
We have seen Chase wreak havoc.
Yeah.
Now listen. Even John, we like you said, we've heard you a million times. People think,
but okay.
People think that Chase Young had a bad year because he did not compile sacks. He was still so fucking disruptive.
He was great against
he was in the backfield,
but that's not why he's here.
We're going there for. I'm chalking that up to immaturity. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's part of Jack Del Rio's fault for letting them play where they wanted to play. He was trying to give them the freedom, just because of the season that him and Montez in the defensive line had the year before during his rookie season. He was like, okay, I'm going to let y'all play where you guys want to play. That you give that.
I think that's what got the defensive line coach fired, dude. Was not that, but the whole thing. Once he was fired, everybody started to click.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, what I'm saying is the talent of Chase Young. You can put there is there's odds on him winning defensive player of the year this year.
Yeah,
and it's pretty decent odds. As he's
20-1, I think, isn't it? Thereabouts.
Better than they are for me. I think I'm like 16 million to 1.
So then, Jesse, I'll play devil's advocate here. And what do you think then justifies him going? I mean, I'm not saying there's an attitude there, but is there? He's not been paid the fifth year option. He obviously wants to build the bag. We know that it is there. If you ball out in that year, you get paid. Look at Deron Payne, case in point there.
Sure.
But at the same time, what makes him become the Nick Bosa's of the world and not the Jadeveon Clowneys of the world?
I think a lot has to do with the maturity factor of Chase Young. And he was young. But I think as he grows older, maybe his circle gets better, and that's what the coaches in the front office staff. That's what they have to. We don't know this stuff. They have to figure it out. But I'm just asking from our point of view, our couch, okay, what we see on our couch, and what I would think if they can make sure that Chase has got the right people around him, they're giving him incentives. Say, hey, you go out here. And if you go play, you just saw what we did for Deron Payne. Okay. Well, you saw what we did for Terry McLaurin, what we did for John Allen. You go out there, show us what we know you can do. We've seen it, prove it, and you're going to get paid. They want to, I can guarantee you this. They want to pay Chase Young, and not Montez Sweat. Okay.
Do you think
let me rephrase that. They would rather pay Chase Young than Montez Sweat, just because of the talent of Chase Young. I think we're pretty much seeing Montez's ceiling right now. Maybe he can scrape a couple more sacks.
The other side of the coin of what I've been saying about it is Montez played a lot better on the other side too.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, he looked good.
Did. When Young was going crazy on the right side, he played a lot better from the left.
So then, there's still a possibility they can pay both of them. But
I think you can franchise tag.
What do you do with Cam Curl? I mean, here's the thing.
He's next. He's next to get. Listen,
maybe they just drafted a couple. They've loaded up that freaking defensive back room.
Next
which
season,
is what we were going to talk about today.
We will have the cap money to pay quite a few people next year.
We are going to have the most cap. I think I saw that we're going to have the most cap space going into next season.
Especially if Sam Howell works out, everybody can get paid.
Everybody. Do you think then, to your point, Jesse? Do you think then that the immaturity was the fact that
I think
when you're this amazing high draft pick, you're second overall, you come in, you're playing fantastically well, you've got this, defensive rookie of the year, these Under Armour, these other people are throwing, sponsorship deals at you, loads and loads of money out there. When you're a young kid, it's going to be difficult for you to take this all on board. I knew what I was like at 20 years old or 21 years old. I was not in a sensible frame of mind.
I thought I was King Dingling and I knew everything.
Yeah, of course, absolutely. And I'm sure he does the same. But I think what we see as fans is we see a lot of rah-rah on the sidelines, and we don't see necessarily that production that we saw that first year. And as Yam said here, the best ability is availability. And he's absolutely right. We have to see it this year. And if not, he can be down as what was a bust. Ultimately, I don't want that to happen.
I mean, he was a defensive rookie of the year. You
want more than 1 year out of him.
The talent's there. You've seen that talent. You saw the talent even in the year that he got hurt. You saw him wreak havoc on that line. I mean, he busting through, getting in the backfield, good at stopping the run.
Bosa got hurt and came back, and he showed it. He did continue.
But one thing, my colleague Scouse, obviously we all know Scouse, Andy's been on here as well. Obviously with his field in medical industry, when you look at Chase's injury as a whole, and it wasn't well said and it wasn't enough. The fact that you've done your patella tendon as well as your ACL, and then you've got ripped meniscus, and then you have to go into the other knee to have tendons removed from that knee and put in your bad knee. You've got 3 different surgeries in 2 knees. Now, it was actually career-threatening injury.
Yeah.
He could never have played again. And nobody's mentioning that.
If it happened 20 years ago, you're absolutely right about that. Yeah.
But at the same time, it always takes an extra year. Look at Logan Thomas now in the offseason.
Yeah.
We're seeing Logan Thomas.
Look how good he's looked on OTA.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. He's looking good. So I think that knee is all right now. And if he needs to wear a brace, he needs to wear a brace. I don't care.
I think that probably is in the mental aspect of it.
Exactly.
Yeah. He's got to wear
fit him with a goddamn wheelchair that goes 40 miles an hour. I'm all right with that.
Straight off the edge.
and from all reports, from coming out of the mini camp, Chase looks good. He's got that burst back, and
he feels like he's trusting it. That's the most important thing.
You want to see the coaches. They want to see, I'm sure the new owners coming in, they've already got the dossiers on every single player, and they've been looking hard at Chase Young. I totally understand why they did not give him the 5th-year option, just in case, give him that out,
even if it's just to motivate him.
Yeah, and I have a feeling Chase Young is pissed and ready to fucking raise hell.
Good.
And he
I
knows
hope so.
damn well if he does that, he's not going to be a Clowney. He's going to be
No.
a Bosa.
Look, from my
You know?
couch, Jadeveon Clowney was a guy who made a hell of a lot off of very few plays as a college player. He made some big freaking splashy ass plays that everybody went, look at that guy. And he came in the
I remember that play versus Michigan. I think that was that one.
He went the one where nobody blocked him and he just walked into the backfield.
That play just was on replay over and over and over.
Here we see once again Jadeveon Clowney completely unblocked making a tackle. Amazing.
Yeah. But no, I think I think we're going to see a big year from Chase Young.
I hope so. I really do.
I hope so. Yeah, we can always say I hope so. Whether I think so, that only means I hope so. Think means hope, and that's all there is to that. So we were going to talk about our defensive backfield, which I was thinking about. I was thinking about that last night, and really, it kind of ruined my orgasm, to be quite honest. Look, I got to thinking about it, and I just said it a couple of minutes ago. What about Cam Curl? All right, what about Cam Curl? His bag isn't going to be like gigantic like one of these guys on the defensive line, but it's not going to be terribly small. All right. And they have drafted, well, they've got him, they've got Forrest, they've got Quan Martin, they've got Percy Butler. So they've pulled in a lot of freaking safeties that are all capable of playing this same role. And I'm wondering if they're not going to just go, okay, next man up.
You forget all pro Revo as well there, John.
And you got Reeves. He's an all pro special teamer. So again, I got to thinking about the roster. All right, the final 53. So we've got how many safeties can we keep? How many we
normally you would do what you do five. You do five corners and 3 safeties normally, wouldn't you? Is what we went with last season. So last season we just take last season. We went with 5 corners and went with 3 safeties. So actually, I think we've got 6 and 4 that are going to make the roster this year, and that is, I mean, I've got the depth chart in front of me.
I'll tell you what, if you look at the depth
when you're getting down to the
look at linebacker,
the team
Davis on there.
The team depth chart does not have our second round draft pick in there.
Quan
Martin in there. So
I've got him on ESPN's one. So
the ESPN's one.
Yeah, I'm looking at this one here, and it's saying that starting safety at the moment, you've got Cam Curl, then behind him Jeremy Reeves, then you've got Troy Apke and Xavier Henderson. Neither of them two are making it.
There you go.
Forrest, Jatavius Martin.
You think Troy Apke's going to finally go away? Boy, you boys are fucking very optimistic, aren't you?
Derek Forrest, Jatavius Martin, or Quan Martin, as he likes to be known. Then you've got Percy Butler is the third string there. So when you look at that's just free safeties and strong safeties. I mean, yeah, we know there's interchangeable play there between, all of them. But even someone like Percy Butler, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 5 safeties straight away there.
And then look how many cornerbacks you got. I mean, I can see Rashawn Wildgoose going straight down to the practice squad. What are you going to do with Danny Johnson, right?
That's a good point.
I mean, great. We cut him last year. Didn't we cut him last year? The People's Corner.
Yeah, we didn't. But the thing with Johnson is he's terrible in camp for some reason. And then when it starts to get towards like week 4, he's unbelievable. And I don't know what the hell's going on.
Last year in preseason, he had a game and he got roasted like a freaking spring chicken, man.
Yeah, I know. And then we're looking at...
And you're a vet, and this is the third quarter. Those are fucking kids out there. What are you doing?
So right now, then let's look at it. Who is your 3 starting corners? Let's go for it. Because for me, I'm going Emmanuel Forbes on 1 on the outside.
Yep.
I think you probably have to go Kendall Fuller on the other side.
Yep.
Now, when it gets to the point where you're in the slot, that's where I'm a bit worried because is it going to be the tweener in Martin or is it going to be Benjamin St. Juice?
I'm going with Benjamin St. Juice, and then with the Buffalo nickel, you can bring Quan Martin in, and eventually St. Juice is going to get hurt, and Quan Martin is going to slide into that starting role. I mean, we can just probably chalk that up to it's going to happen. St. Juice is going to get hurt.
And which opens the door for Troy Apke to come back.
but Quan Martin's going to be playing a wide variety of positions on the field. You got to think too. We get in that 1 and 2 linebacker set. So I mean, our base defense 2 linebackers.
Yeah.
So you're going to have 5 defensive backs on the field.
That's what I was thinking.
Right.
What you would look at normally as linebacker depth in our final 53 is going to be taken up by some of these guys. Some of these safeties.
Yeah. And Quan Martin's going to, they already have him penciled in as that Buffalo nickel, so that can save Cam Curl, and even have them rotate at times, so he doesn't have to play up close to the box all the time. Because he's so good. He's
getting dinged up.
Yeah. So
when you're playing that Buffalo nickel though, Jesse, are you going, or if we play a 5-man front, you've got 5, and then you're going to go 1 linebacker most likely.
Right.
And then what are you doing behind that? You've got 5 DBs. So what's your choice?
You can play a 4-man front, 5-man front, or even a 3-man front. There's so much that they can do. They can have 6 defensive backs on the field at one time.
Yeah, six on the same. Yeah, I can see that happening. No problem at all. But what I want to see here is I hope that St. Juste stays fit. Obviously, over the last 2 seasons, what's he missed 7 games now? Yeah. It's a lot. It's a lot to miss, especially with, I think it was his thumb that he injured.
Concussions and foot.
Concussions as well.
Concussions and foot.
Thank you. They're talking about Wild Goose has been playing really well in camp. So has Castro Fields.
Yeah,
there's a practice squad, or even special. You got to have your special teams guys too.
That's where Reeves is going to make the team as special teams. So
we're also cutting. Well, it looks like really pre-practice squad. You might even end up with the likes of your 7th round pick last year in Christian Holmes being on a practice squad.
Yeah,
very possible. Don't get me wrong. When he played, he got roasted too.
Yeah.
So,
One thing I'll say, when we're having discussions like this, where we're trying to figure out, my God, who could stay and what are you going to do with this guy? And you got so many. You've only got so many holes for these players. And when we look at these specific position groups, cornerback, safety, they were weaknesses. 2 years ago? Everybody's like, "Oh my God,
bad.
We were
so
depleted."
Bad.
They're right. They were completely depleted. Well, here in 2 years, now we've got an embarrassment of riches where we're trying to figure out how many are we going to be able to keep.
Yeah. What I want to see happen is
how many of these guys that we're talking about practice squad are going to stay there? Who's going to?
It wasn't even that we didn't have depth. We didn't have starters either.
No,
guys.
That's true. We didn't.
And now we have
still
here. Now we have depth pieces that can start and not not cost you too much, if anything at all.
I think Quan Martin will see a lot of the field, but it'll be in rotation.
Yeah, he's going to be a chess piece. They're going to be able to move him.
He will be. He will be the whole damn thing.
They're going to be able to move him around.
I think long term, because Kendall Fuller, this is his last year. So obviously, is he going to get another contract in the summer? We don't know. The thing that amazes me is this guy is Benjamin Button. He's 28 years old and he's got 8 seasons behind him. I'm like, holy shit, you seem to have been around forever. He really does seem, I thought he was about 32.
The only thing about that is I've seen Kendall Fuller and I have never seen Benjamin Button.
Well, there you go. If you look at have you seen Kendall Fuller and I can't remember what the guy's name is, Pharrell Williams? Have you seen them in the same room? Because I'm sure Pharrell Williams is actually a vampire. But anyway, we'll move on because he never ages. So
Pharrell Williams grew up right down the road from me.
Did he really? Wow, there you go.
Right, small fact. Same area. Got a lot of. So did Missy Elliott. Right over there in Portugal.
Yeah, I want to see. Norfolk. Eventually, I think next year the starting 3 will probably be St. Juste, Forbes, and Quan Martin would be your 3 corners for me. But
it's
great to have that depth. It's great to have that depth. And now, actually, when I looked at this, like you did, John, and it didn't spoil my orgasm. I was perfectly fine. But each to their own. But exactly, that's it. But when I was looking at this and researching it last night and having a good look at that roster, this now makes me think that my argument back in a couple of months ago when I was saying, you could cut Fuller, we need that veteran in that room.
Yeah,
we desperately need that veteran.
The only thing that was going on the cut Fuller talk for me in any way to be any kind of reasonable was the fact of his contract, and that it was going to be one of the not necessarily one of the larger hits on the team, but it was a hit that maybe you could do something with, right? Were we going to I think that was the more reasonable approach, was where we're going to re-up him or where we're going to rework him. But they seem to have the cap is completely under control. When we talk about things, like I just said about the fact that they've taken weaknesses and they've turned them into strengths. Same with tight end, man. All of a sudden, tight end is. I know everybody thinks it's a weakness right now, but
I think it's a strength. I think people are going to be pleasantly surprised with how good this tight end room is.
A couple of years ago, they had nothing, right? So when there's a weakness, they tend to oversaturate it, like they have, I think, with these defensive backs. I mean, we have gone after them like crazy.
Yeah, I mean, just after Sean died, I mean, we tried so hard to fill that void. And our safeties were just terrible, one after the other, after the other, after the other. Now you got, I mean, got one of the best safety tandems in the fucking league right now in Cam Curl and Derek Forrest. I mean, they were rated 1 and 2 in PFF for quite a few weeks in a row last year.
Yeah, so if you look at if you look at PFF's ratings for the upcoming season, Cam Curl was 4th.
Yeah.
Is what they put him as. If he sees this, as we said before about you mentioned the point, John, about his contracting coming up. I mean, I think the highest, I can't remember his name now, is the highest paid safety is on about 19 million a year. I can't see Cam Curl resetting that market, but I can see him being around about 14, 15 mil. So you're probably looking at about 4 years, 50 mil, something like that, 55 mil. So it's going to be a big contract. But what we need to do is make sure that cap hit is right. I do too. I think he is too. And amazing from what was a 7th round pick, you're finding a gem like that who ideally probably should have been.
They have done.
Should have been a 2. He should have been a 2nd rounder at the very, even a 1st rounder now. If you do a redraft on that and you go, oh, let's do a redraft of this, he's going in the 1st round, no doubt about it.
2nd round at the latest.
100%. Early 2nd at that, John. Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, he is from Virginia, Portsmouth. We got in my area. We have a lot of stars everywhere from Michael Vick.
We've got Jesse freaking Martin. There's the star.
I actually went to a quarterback camp with Michael Vick. I was a freshman and he was a senior.
Did he pay for your drinks?
No, we were in high school.
So you kind of were just there when
did he have a pet? Did he have a pet dog? Sorry.
Mark was there. I actually talked to Marcus, his younger brother. Anyways, we got a lot of stars from the 757 area.
Nice.
But anyways, no, I listen. Derek Forrest, he just came on last year,
and they knew he was going to.
Yes,
that's Cincinnati. And when they drafted him, it's the same. They had the same reaction to him that they had to Forbes when they drafted him this year. When they saw that they were going to be able to grab Forrest, they were like laughing amongst themselves, like, "Oh my God, we got this, we got a steal here." And I think that they're right. The dude, I mean, granted, we went after ball hawks in the draft this year. You know, Martin and Forbes, they're known to be around the ball. Look, Forbes, all these people, man, that are crying all about the position flex. Why don't we just stick with what they know? Blah blah blah. We just brought Forbes in here. Why are we trying to look, man? They play him in the slot in mini camps. So what? And you know what the thing I noticed? You know what the thing I noticed about all of that? He's still around the ball. The motherfucker's popping the ball up, smacking it. All right. If you can get the ball up in the air like that, you can make turnovers. And I think that that's what they see there. Forrest, we know, can make turnovers. That guy's got a nose.
What do you have? Four INTs, 4 or 5 interceptions last year,
and some really trippy ones too, man. He had one. He came flying across the field. Reeves, he has a bit of a nose for interceptions. So with this, I'm hoping that we see short fields and the better offense will come from that.
I think we'll see an uptick of in turnovers.
I hope
this
so.
year. You know,
we should
not only interceptions, but I think with Chase Young back, I think he's going to be able to knock a couple loose. You know, brother,
and hurry the shit out of the quarterback. Dude, what do I always say? Why do you put him on the right defensive end side? Because you want that quarterback wondering where the fuck he is. Oh, where is he? Where is he? Taking his eyes off downfield, hurrying that throw.
Appreciate it, Andy. Appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Right. Hey, anybody out there whose kids are listening to the show right now, sorry for my fucking language tonight, man. It's Friday. It's late, and I don't care. I've been working my ass off, so I just don't care. I'm off work.
No, look, man. I'm excited for Forbes. I think he's going to add some feistiness to that defensive back rooms, and and you got Forbes, Cam Curl. I mean, enough can't be said about him and how smart he is as a football player. Now that you don't have to have him up playing close to the line of scrimmage and kind of protect him a little bit. He's going to be able to roam the backfield and help, not only in the run game, but also you don't expect Cam Curl to get a whole bunch of interceptions, but
no,
he's going to be able to make a whole bunch of pass breakups and cover people because is that good. And he's starting to get that love from the national media. He's starting to be put on lists. And I think there was a CBS one, and people were taking notice of him because he's that good. It's well deserved.
Yeah.
That's why I don't get how, someone, as big as Mike Clay is, he's going to, rate our safety room.
Chris Sims was talking about safeties. He said, and this kid came cruel. He's really something over there for the Commanders. Fucking morons. I don't like to hear. This is my reaction every time we talk about the national media. They're just freaking news readers. They don't know what they're doing.
Who's your surprise cut then from the DB room that maybe ends up on a practice squad? Who do you think makes it?
I maybe Danny Johnson. Yeah, Danny Johnson.
He's just got to be the odd man out. I could see Butler.
Percy
Possibly.
Butler. No, I don't think so.
I think they got plans for that guy.
I
think they like him too. But you know what? They brought in new guys. There's a lot of competition there. There's one thing about him I didn't like last year.
Cam Curl, Butler, and
whistle stops.
Forrest.
Cam Curl, Butler, Forrest. That's your three, and then Quan Martin, obviously, as well as the Buffalo nickel package, or playing in that slot corner. And then you're into the Castro Fields. You're into the Wild Gooses. They're gone.
Jeremy Reeves.
Jeremy Reeves is going to be a special
teams guy. He's a safety by trade. They don't
trade. Yeah.
Right.
But I think what do you keep specials wise? 3 guys, 2 guys.
Well,
apart from
Troy
specialists.
I've heard he's an ace.
Well, I mean, Troy Apke's gone, but there's no way they're going to cut Percy Butler in my.
No, Christian Holmes for me. That's who I think goes.
Yeah, he's gone.
That's probably it. That's probably it.
Practice squad.
When you got a player of the caliber of Percy Butler, like on that line, like who stays, who gets cut, that's telling you
crazy,
you got a good fucking room.
Look, I'm not saying that I think you will. I'm just saying if you're asking for a surprise, if you got to look at them all and say which one, I mean, beyond the obvious, all right, beyond the obvious. There's Danny Johnson. Okay.
I think I'll put it to you this way. I think Diami Brown has a better chance of getting cut than Percy Butler, in my opinion.
Possible. We can talk about wide receivers the next time on the.
But for me, there's one for you. The thing that when you said there, Jesse, to your point as well, is when you're saying, oh well, if we're going down this route and we're talking about the draft picks from last year getting cut already, it shows you how good the room is. Think about we brought a guy in like Cam Dantzler who's already been cut.
Yeah, there's got to be something going on there. He's been cut
possibly. But he's at the Bills. He's at the Bills, and apparently he's having a good camp.
So a camp? Well, we'll see.
So do you think?
No, I mean they're gonna keep 10 defensive backs, 10, maybe even 11 defensive backs.
Yeah,
I think they're going to do that.
But then
that's cornerbacks and safeties, and some of our corners play safety. I mean, Percy Butler can play corner too. You got. Quan Martin, and that's going to add into the linebacker room, like John stated earlier. So that's going to be you're going to be able to take a linebacker or two on a normal 3-4 or 4-3 defense that you would normally keep, but you're just going to keep an extra cornerback or safety.
Well, now what does all this say for Max Potato?
Benny Potato. Benny Potato's gone. Right. Yeah, Benny Potato's gone. I think, though, genuinely looking at this, it's a strange one because where do you make finding this 53 is going to be very, very tough.
It's going to be tough. But I can't wait. I can't wait until we'll make our 53 before the last game.
Yeah. What's really mad is that they're all cut after that, aren't they? They're all cut after the last preseason game now.
Yeah.
There's no, we'll go down slowly. It's one cut. That's it. Which is going to be quite crazy because who then ends up on waivers?
Jesus Christ!
From throughout all of these teams, there's going to be like hundreds of people cut that day, then end up on waivers that night. So don't be surprised if you see us make a move if we see things in camp that the left guard situation is not going.
Don't be surprised if the team makes a move on July 21st when the new ownership takes over.
Dalton
Reisner's
still out there for me. Not much money.
Sorry,
it cost you about. Dalton
Reisner like it
is still there.
exploded in my.
Yeah.
Something like I heard a big ass explosion. That's why my dogs are going to start barking.
I think we got like 15 million or something after some restructuring or cuts or whatever. Yeah. I mean, we're still getting rid of what's his name? Norwell.
Andrew Norwell.
Yeah.
Which will save you $3 million there, which then pretty much pays for the first 2 draft picks. But what's really surprising as well is we still have not signed Emmanuel Forbes or Quan Mine.
That'll get done.
Sometimes that's got stuff to do with their school, although it is now into deep June, but it might have something to do.
It'll get done, and they're slotted. I mean, there's not really much,
Yeah, 16 isn't waiting to find out. Well, let's find out what the number 5 pick gets. No, you're number 16, dude. Pick it.
Yeah.
I think it'll get done. I'm not too concerned about that. They all seem to be pretty excited about being here, so I'm not too worried about that. Shit, I'm sorry. That fucking explosion threw me, man. That thing was loud. I don't know what that was. So
John's blowing shit up again.
It was a submersible imploding. Sorry, too soon.
No, it's not too soon. I got to tell you something. I heard a tape of the last words coming out of that sub, and it went like this: Gilligan.
Oh God!
Sorry, that was terrible.
So bad.
That was awful, and you got to be able to get it. Gilligan.
Oh my goodness!
Look, man. I tell you what. Since we're on that, we got 10 minutes left in the show. I tell you what. I feel bad for one person in this whole thing, and it's the kid.
Yeah,
didn't want to go. And was terrified 100%. And went for his father for Father's Day. He's the one I feel bad for. Everybody else, look, the gene pool got a nice little clean in the other day. It's not a big one, but just a few.
What happened? It was a tragedy. Luckily, they didn't feel nothing. It was just out like a light. And it's just how stupid can you be? I mean, you're using a Logitech video game controller.
Unbelievable. $29.99
to go fucking 18,000 or 12,000,
4,000 feet. Yeah, 12,000 feet, 4 miles.
12,500 fucking
long way down, 3 miles. Yeah, a long way the fuck down with a window that's rated for 1,300 feet.
Yeah, I spoke to some submariners today about this, and we were on this subject, and they basically said at that pressure of what you feel when it implodes, they will not even they'll have been vaporized completely.
Nanoseconds.
Without even know. Yeah, I think it was the brain responds to it in 0.25 milliseconds, and the implosion happens in 0.02. So the implosion happens before the brain can even respond to what it knows. So they didn't know what was happening. Which is a good thing.
But did you see the video that came out of the guy that built it? He was like, "Oh, you're not supposed to use this type of material, but we used it anyways. We're breaking rules and breaking barriers."
Yeah, I saw him. Dude, they ignored every single fucking safety precaution. Every single agency that rated any of this stuff said, no, none of this is going to work. And what do you know? It didn't fucking work. No. So no, I don't have sympathy for people that do this to themselves because they did. I have sympathy for the kid.
A Logitech fucking video game controller.
And a one button.
It costs $29.99 out of Target, Jesse. I mean, what is going on?
Excuse me.
People actually paid $250,000.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Well, the thing is this: they got what they asked for. They just didn't get the return ticket. That's all. I just would have loved to have.
Well, they wanted to see the Titanic. I mean, you got the real thing. Didn't you?
They missed.
Captain Biff, is the window supposed to be leaking?
Oh God!
Jesus effing Christ, man!
So anyway, on the internet.
What's that?
John, did you download that thing that I showed you?
Oh yes, I did. We do have something for you this week. Let's see. Here it is. Let me pull this up. This is our. We might as well hit this first.
Sit down and shut the fuck up. Shut up! Shut up! Sit the fuck down and shut up! Shut up and sit down. Will you shut up? Just sit your ass down here and shut up.
This
numbnut of the week.
The numbnut of the week. Here he is.
All the
Go ahead,
things,
Jesse, take over.
All the things that that's been happening with our franchise should get every fucking fan excited. We're getting a new owner. I mean, Jesus, man, we're getting a new owner. We got a fucking solid team, solid depth everywhere. We got a exciting young quarterback, hoping to help turn this franchise around if he works out. But this numbnut, DG28, I guess that's Daryl Green 28, says, I need a new GM and coaching staff before I get excited. Oh, and a new name. Shut the fuck up and sit the fuck down. You fucking fuck.
What an utter bellend.
I mean, really, like, fucking shut up, man. I would punch you in the face if I knew who you were. Straight in the face. Fucking,
So here's the thing.
Bloody your fucking nose.
Here's the thing that I would like to say to Mr. DG28. If you want all those things, there's 31 other places that have them. You can go right up the road to Baltimore. There's a new team up there called the Ravens that you can get. I mean, I tell you what, they got a whole new name. They got a different name. They got a whole different coaching staff, and they got a whole different GM, and you will be much happier. And so will we, because we won't have to listen to your stupid ass all the fucking time. I'll tell you what, man.
I love it.
This is not new. All right. This is the thing about these kinds of folks, man. This is not new. I just read him the new name.
Twitter
You're never going to
of the week.
I'm not going to get excited. I just want the coach just having a new name, and I need new colors, and I need a new stadium, and I need all this new stuff before I even.
He needs to go back to the old. That's what he wants. He wants to go back to the old, right? He wants to go back to the old because he cannot take change. Can't handle change. And no matter what, whether you fucking like it or not, change happens. Yep. And you can cry about it all you goddamn well want. It isn't going to change a motherfucking thing.
Preacher John. Y'all know how fucking much I hated the name Commanders. Even before, we had a podcast. I'm like, that's fucking the stupidest goddamn name in the fucking world. I still think I don't like it. But guess what?
Like
I'm fine with it now. It's what it is, what it is. It's my team is Washington. Washington.
That's right.
Team that plays and almost in DC. That's
right.
That's the team that has the Super Bowls. We have 3 Super Bowls in the building. Okay. That's my team.
Fact of the matter is, for the last, I'd say, 25 years, unfettered free agency has turned the NFL into a game full of fucking mercenaries, and your roster changes so goddamn often that the only thing that you really do root for is the colors. All right. So, if what the tradition that you that you're hoping for can be recreated anew. All right. That's what you hope for anyway. You don't return to the past. You fucking start fresh and you go forward, no matter what. That's the thing about sports. Every year is a fresh experience.
John, can you get this? Can you get that off the screen before I punch my computer?
Oh yeah, I'll get that.
Do you know what though, Jesse? I bet DG28 is now sitting in his Spider-Man pajamas, sweating like a pork chop in a synagogue. Absolutely shit.
Pork chop in a synagogue.
He will be shitting himself now.
Oh my goodness. One for Scotty. There you go.
Twitter numpty of the week. It's a new segment, guys. Let's get it going.
Yeah.
Well, we do. We have it. The thing is this. I am unable to access my other hard drive, which I have all of our old artwork on with this computer. And so I've got to go back in there and get it. And Jesse didn't tell me we were going to use this thing until later on in the day.
Yeah, however, I saw it today. I was like, John, let me send this to John real quick. Let's this fucking idiot.
I do think that maybe we should relabel it and have Scotty give us a nice the complete bell end of the
week. Yeah, exactly.
All right, we can do that.
Total bell end of the week. Yeah.
Total bell end of the week. There we go.
Twitter twat or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
Twitter twat of the week. Yeah. There you go.
We need Andy to say that one for us. That's right. We will bridge gaps. We will bridge the ocean. All right.
That's it, exactly.
So I guess there you go. We've wasted just about an hour of your time today. Thank you, everybody, for stopping on through and seeing what we were talking about, because we really didn't know what we were going to talk about until we got here. So, hey, what an adventure for all of us. Yeah. So, hey, man, there's nothing going on. So, of course, we'll be back in 2 weeks to talk about it. No, that'll be the 4th of July. That'll be around the 4th of July. So,
it will be, yeah.
Right. So for Jesse and I, we'll be, of course, partying up and celebrating all over the time. While Scott is going to be wallowing his head in abject defeat.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
There you go.
Oh, shit.
But Wimbledon will be starting up soon, so that will give you all the something to be happy about. So there you go.
It will. Yeah. It will.
All right, Scott. Of course, when you come on during Wimbledon, you have to wear all white shorts and Oxford shirts.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I know I was going to be the umpire. just
By the way,
point
nice,
randomly.
Nice Father's Day gift here. My son got me a
Nice.
Bill Belichick. It's a Bill
Nice.
Belichick. It's got this gigantic pocket in the front.
Nice.
So it's pretty cool. I don't have to cut the sleeves off for myself, and I can stand out there in the parking lot when we go to week 1, and I can say, "God damn it, where did all these freaking goddamn limeys come from?"
Yeah, I got
all over the wrong side of the fucking road here.
I got my dorky the Commander's a personalized license plate, and
Nice.
then my son got me the W Washington magnet, so I can put right beside. So for idiots that cannot read, so they'll say Washington Commanders on it. And then he also got me a license plate tag. But I want to give a shout out to my mom. Poor woman bought a brand new car. And it's 2023 Honda CRV, nice, beautiful car, red, and it has been having an issue. All these scissors are coming out, so they called her yesterday. I even spoke with the technician. He's like, "We got it fixed now. We got it fixed." So it's the technician, the sensors are all these sensors are coming out. She loses.
Tell her to watch her language.
she loses power steering and her ABS brakes. So it's been in there 4 times, and now it's classified as a lemon.
Yep,
so
she gets a new car.
Yeah, she's gonna get a new car. But I feel bad because she had to wait so long because you don't buy new cars now; they build them.
Yeah,
They build them for you. They rarely keep any on the lot. So she had to wait like 6 months for them to build the car. And now it's fucked. It only has like 1,200 miles on it. And it's feel bad for her.
Bad story.
She picked it up yesterday. We thought it was going to be fixed. They said, "Oh, we found the loose connection." And they were like, "Nope, it's done. It's done. We promise." And it went out on her. She called me crying today, and I felt so bad for her. So we have to take it back and say, "This is it. We're getting something. We need something new. This is not fucking happening."
Yeah, that was all the wrong music for that kind of a story. I don't have it.
Yeah.
That's all good. All good. Yeah.
Do that. But that's really that's not.
Yeah, it's kind of fucked up, John.
I'm sorry. That's why I didn't do it. I'd rather leave on, this.
Good terms, yeah.
All right, what do you got going on this week, Scott? Anything going on the 1 Point Safety Show?
We just dropped yesterday. Normally we record on a Thursday night, so nothing going on there. Very difficult. We had a Lions fan on from the UK, which was quite interesting. So another guy called Aaron. He's got an interesting lad, and that is about it. All looking forward to September. All go. Everything's booked, packed, ready. We're raring to go, and that's about it. It just can't come quick enough now. It can't come quick enough. But that is it. Nothing going on. Work is awful, as always. Lots of people hurting themselves. Double leg breaks and crushed fingers.
Wow.
So it's all go.
It's a Tuesday. It's just a Tuesday over here in the UK.
And that's just a Tuesday.
Right.
Exactly.
I don't want to hear about none of your fucking safety rules. Get your fat ass down there and get your work.
Put your fucking helmet on your belly.
Next week we'll
that's what I was called.
the
That's
receivers.
what I was called. We'll do receivers next time, Jesse. Yeah.
All right,
I was called that last week.
That's gonna be
The
easy.
glasses police are here. The glasses police are here.
What do we got here?
We're like OSHA. OSHA's here.
OSHA's here. The glasses
Get your
police.
boots on.
I would give it about a 74% chance right now that Keith has an alfalfa sprout somewhere within vicinity of his plate.
Mine was
Keith
stuck
is-
in his teeth.
Probably a few.
Keith's eating, what's he eating? Quinoa and Brussels sprouts. That's what he's having.
He went to a Chinese restaurant and they gave him a shoot of bamboo and he's just sitting there chewing on it like a fucking panda. All right, with that, we're going to say see you later. We are 1 hour and 3
minutes. We can't ever stay under time, but that's good. So, okay, everybody, till next time. Peace.
Later.
Bye.